You're listening to an African Elements top news story for June 5, 2025. Please visit our website at africanelements.org for more daily news. Kilyn Lewis, An Unarmed Black Man's Last Moments, by Darius Spearman, African Elements. Kilyn Lewis, a 37-year-old black man, met a devastating end when an Aurora police officer shot and killed him. This incident unfolded as Aurora's SWAT team moved to arrest Lewis. They sought him on an attempted first-degree murder warrant from Denver. Officers surrounded Lewis in an apartment complex parking lot. Body cam footage from the scene captured the tense moments. Officers commanded Lewis to get on the ground. They also told him to keep his hands visible. Lewis was holding a cell phone during this encounter. Officer Michael Dieck, a SWAT officer, fired a single shot. This occurred after Lewis's hand briefly moved out of view. His hand then reappeared, still holding the cell phone. The fatal shot claimed Lewis's life. He was not armed with any weapon. This tragic event has ignited a significant conversation within the community. It also raises questions about police practices against black citizens. The Lewis family continues to seek justice for Kilyn. They have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Aurora. The lawsuit also names Officer Michael Dieck. This legal action alleges that excessive force was used. It asserts that Lewis was not given enough time to comply with police orders. In contrast, the district attorney's office investigated the incident. They determined there was no criminal liability for Officer Dieck. Furthermore, a grand jury declined to investigate the case further. These findings highlight a recurring pattern. Often, internal and criminal investigations clear officers. However, victims' families pursue civil action for accountability. It is important to remember that civil lawsuits and criminal cases operate under different legal standards. A criminal proceeding focuses on punishment for a crime. A civil lawsuit instead seeks compensation for damages. This distinction allows the Lewis family's lawsuit to proceed. It moves forward even though criminal charges were not brought. The legal standard for excessive force centers on whether an officer's actions were objectively reasonable. The Fourth Amendment protects individuals. It shields them from unreasonable searches and seizures. This protection also extends to excessive force by police. The family's lawsuit argues these constitutional protections were violated. The Aurora Police Department has conducted its internal review of the incident. This review found no wrongdoing by Officer Dieck. Such internal investigations are a standard accountability mechanism. The credibility of these reviews often depends on their independence and transparency. Beyond this specific case, the department is also undertaking a wider assessment. It involves a broader review of SWAT operations. This review aims to align operations with best practices. It also seeks to ensure community accountability. SWAT operations typically follow strict protocols. These guidelines prioritize safety and de-escalation techniques. They also emphasize a response proportional to perceived threats. Deviations from these established best practices can lead to significant issues. This includes potential claims of excessive force. Community members often view internal clearings with skepticism. They look for external oversight. They also demand more comprehensive accountability measures. This ongoing review is a critical step. It shows that police departments are acknowledging concerns. However, real change requires consistent action. It also needs sustained transparency. Holding police departments accountable is a multifaceted challenge. This involves internal reviews. It also includes external oversight bodies. Moreover, community policing initiatives play a vital role. Legal actions, like civil lawsuits, are also powerful tools. The Lewis family's lawsuit underlines this pursuit of accountability. They argue that the use of force was unjustified. The family maintains constitutional protections were violated. The city of Aurora, on the other hand, stands by the officer. They maintain he acted lawfully based on internal and external investigations. The community's continuous demand for transparency is crucial. Without it, trust between law enforcement and the public erodes. This is especially true within black communities. Cases like Kilyn Lewis's reinforce feelings of vulnerability. They also amplify calls for systemic reform. The quote, "I don't have nothing," attributed to Lewis during the incident, adds another layer of complexity. Its full context is not clear. However, it may reflect his desperate attempt to convey his lack of threat. It highlights the dynamic of perceived danger versus actual threat. This remains a central issue in many deadly encounters. The term unarmed is central to Kilyn Lewis's case, yet its meaning is complex. It simply means not carrying a visible weapon. However, an officer's perception of a threat can go beyond this. Body language, verbal cues, or non-compliance can be interpreted as threatening. This distinction is critical. It allows the use of force based on perceived danger. This can happen even when an individual carries no weapon. In Lewis's situation, he held only a cell phone, yet the officer perceived a threat after his hand moved out of view. This highlights the subjective nature of threat assessment. The legality of using force against an unarmed person hinges on the reasonableness of the officer's perception. This perception is often shaped by intense training. Police training emphasizes recognizing and responding to potential dangers. Objects like cell phones can be mistaken for weapons in high-stress situations. This unfortunate reality places Black individuals at a higher risk. They frequently face disproportionate force, even when unarmed. The incident with Kilyn Lewis serves as a stark reminder. It shows how nuanced the concept of unarmed can become during a police encounter. Kilyn Lewis's death fits into a larger, troubling pattern. It reflects police violence against unarmed Black people across the United States. Research consistently shows racial disparities in police shootings. Black individuals are disproportionately more likely to be victims of police violence. While specific Colorado data is not always readily available, the national trends are clear. These incidents fuel a pervasive sense of fear and injustice within Black communities. They highlight the urgent need for comprehensive reform. Addressing these disparities demands specific actions. It requires rigorous, transparent data collection. Furthermore, it needs thorough analysis of policing practices. The ongoing review of Aurora SWAT operations, while a start, must go further. It should directly confront the racial implications of use-of-force policies. Only then can meaningful changes be implemented. Only then can trust begin to heal. The pursuit of justice for Kilyn Lewis is a powerful reminder. It underscores the continuous fight for safety and equity for Black lives in America. Copyright African Elements.